Nifrost's Motvind. Nifrost is a band that's kind of new to me. I actually ran across them on a couple of reviews, and I just decided to pick up the album. And what I could say about this album is it's really, truly inspiring. It's got some of these amazing folk influences on it that and some things I've never really even heard before. I really like that they added in a lot of acoustic parts to the album. It sort of harkens back to maybe early Opeth and Over in a lot of ways, the first three albums. And I think it's really ingenious that they kind of do that, because I always find myself going for black metal that kind of has, a change of pace. It has these slow parts that seeg into these heavier parts. And these guys do it really, really well. I think the other thing to talk about with this album would be that a lot of the songs tend to have these very catchy moments to them, and that you can actually find yourself singing along or humming along to them, which is really great too. I really find that with a lot of black metal releases that get thrown around anymore, that they aren't very catchy. They're more abrasive than anything, which, sometimes it's the point of black metal to be so abrasive that you actually have to force yourself to listen to it and then get onto it. These guys seem very accessible in the fact that even though it is very heavy and very at times abrasive, that it's kind of warming at the same time, which is great. I really love the fact that also the production value on this was a little more on the progressive side. Everything is very, very well audible. And not only that, but it's mixed very well. The trebles and the mids and even the bass seem to be, very audible in that they seek together very well. Nothing drowns out anything else as far as that. Songwriting goes, the songs they go from mid to very, very long, which is also very good. Sometimes you put on a track and it's like 15 minutes and you're like, I don't really think I could sit through 15 minutes of a track. But these guys, they give you a lot of breathing room on this album. The album itself, I think, is one of those things that you could actually sit down and listen to quite a bit, only for the simple fact that the singer really gives you time, in between the instrumental parts to kind of like chill and get absorbed into the music. And the music itself is very kind of folky all the way around. Even the heavier guitar parts kind of have this catchy, almost Celtic like writing style to them, which I really enjoyed. It's definitely a change over your typical Viking or atmospheric metal, where they kind of stick with the same plot line. These guys don't really follow that plot line. They're more interested in giving you a product that is progressive and is going to give you something different to listen to, and definitely something you've never heard before, which I find is also very great. I love when bands give you this product that really kind of changes the way you look at a certain genre of music, and these guys really do it very, very well. As far as everything goes, the guitar player, like I said earlier, he adds in a lot of folkiness to the actual album, but he also does a lot of weird things with as far as how rhythms go and how riffs are played. They're not in a stereotypical fashion where they're these fastly tremolo arpeggiated silliness where it becomes monotonous after a point. He really takes the time to write things that are totally different to the actual genre. The bass player also, he does a lot of different stuff where you could hear interesting bass lines being played that are not typical to your standard black metal. He takes the time to, and it almost puts me in line of mid-album Jethro Tull, where the bass player actually played a ton of notes. He wasn't just a standard follow the root kind of guy, which is very interesting to me as well. And I also think the keyboards add a nice background texture to the overall album too. It's not as dominant as say a lot of black metal, but I definitely think that it is dominant enough to kind of add to the overall song structure, which is great in itself. I think that when you playing a band, you know, it's great to take a solo and everything, but if you're not adding to the overall song, you're kind of just taking it over and being a showboater, which none of these guys do at all. It's totally awesome, and it doesn't really sound like any kind of release that's been out thus far or in the last couple of years, you know. So I definitely like that it is both black metal on one, totally progressive on the other, and I also like that the production kind of meets at a segue point between the two. You know, it's not so clean that it's sterile, but you know, you get what I'm saying as far as that goes. And I really think that the big champion on this album would probably be, you know, the singer. He really does a lot of melodic kind of phrasings with his voice, you know, and I love when singers kind of make their voice into an instrument of its own. You know, he really makes an interesting story out of this. And also, the amazing thing was, you know, when I seen it, the album cover, I'm like, this isn't a black metal band. There's no way it could be. And putting it on, I'm like, yep, it's a black metal band. Definitely interesting, you know. So never judge a book by its cover. These guys really take it to the next level as far as, you know, the new wave of black metal out there, as far as going a lot more progressive sounding with it. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there, but this one I definitely think will be peaking its way up the top lists of everybody, you know, because they're just so well thought out. So, as always, we thank you for watching our videos, and if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment box below. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to our page, and we hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you.